Hello, I'm Matt. Welcome to my brand new channel, Matt Reacts. Last week I reacted to a couple of Oliver Anthony songs, and those videos that I did were extremely well received, so a lot of people have written into me and said, can you please take a look at Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town? So I know nothing about Jason Aldean and I know nothing about this song, but apparently it's been very popular. So let's take a look at it right now, and I want to see why it might be so popular.
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like, cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough.
So he's drawing on some very heavy imagery. He's starting off the video talking about the random crime in cities where people are getting sucker punched, carjacked, liquor stores are being robbed. But then he switches gears and he focuses in on these bizarre political protests that have been ravaging the cities in America for the last number of years. So let's see where he's going with this.
Flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town.
So he's saying that these protests, they don't make any sense, and the cities are burning. And by the way, the people in the cities don't like it either. And but anyway, he's saying that if you bring these to Heartland America, these protests where people are bussed in and where they're paid to protest and where they're paid to burn things and loot and smash things and burn businesses, you're going to expect a tremendous pushback. So I think he's tapping into the frustration a lot of us feel for these contrived events. Let's continue on.
Recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck. Try that in a small town.
So he's talking about his granddad gave him a gun which is sacred to him. It represents his heritage. And the powers that be want to come and take that gun away from him. And the gun has always been a symbol of American responsibility and American self-determination and American independence and our fundamental human right to defend ourselves and our property. And tyrannical governments don't like us to be armed. And why do you think that might be? They want to have a monopoly on force. So he's saying, you try that in the cities, you come to Heartland America, try to take my gun, which is something that is a very part of me, we'll see what happens. Interesting.
Good luck. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys, raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in.
So he's talking about the good old boys who've been raised up right. But if you're looking for a fight, these guys who are peace-loving, hard-working, decent family men, they know how to defend themselves. You come and bring that nonsense to Heartland America, you're going to get in trouble. And you better know that right now. And really interesting, just a word about protests. I think protests, legitimate protests, are very important. Remember a couple of years ago in the Capitol, there was a very important protest. And I got to say, I know some of those people who were there, and those people are among the best people that I've ever met. I would be so proud to have them as neighbors and as members of my family and friends. But they've been demonized and painted as radicals. And conversely, the real radicals who've been paid and bussed in and who are sowing chaos in society, the cops are standing down, the politicians are supporting them. Is there something not right about all of this? I think this is what Jason Aldean is saying, and he's expressing what we're all feeling.
If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town.
So in the last part here, Aldean is showing some images of churches, farmers, tractors, duck hunters, baseball games, etc. And those are symbols of the very best of America when it's firing on all cylinders and when the country is functioning properly. And I think he's pretty much saying, you come and try to jeopardize that, we're going to push back like you can't believe. And I hope that that can happen. And there might be a time in the future where it needs to happen. Anyway, let's continue.
Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town.
Okay, so let's wrap up. These protests that we've been seeing over the last number of years, those are not organic and spontaneous. There's an agenda behind those. These people are primarily kind of dumb, impressionable people who want to collect some pay and want to express their frustration and bust things up, but they're pretty dull-witted people. They really are on the margins, on the fringe of mainstream decent American society. And they wouldn't do that on their own if they weren't getting a lot of support. I think the really big thing we have to ask is, why is that happening and who is behind it? As far as this song goes, I understand why it's important and why it has resonated with so many people, because all of us are shaking our heads thinking, wow, how could this in the real world even happen? So that's my take, and I would have to say a pretty effective song. See you next time.